One potential issue we were facing, one obstacle when we started writing the singles, and we made the choice that we were actually going to put them out before we even had an album finished, was obviously the artwork, because we are very big fans of the album format, and that's very dear to our hearts. And that's where we also wanted to have a direction already from the beginning. So I remember bouncing ideas back and forth with our long-term friend and designer Jacob, who's done every single Imminence album cover. And after a few back and forths, he finally came up with this idea for the symbol and kind of building it as a sketch, where it's almost like a schematic, where you're drawing up all your points where you need to, like the groundwork for later filling in your vision or your drawing. And that was just so perfect that we could see the album artwork come together piece by piece by each single. And while it still looked a bit rough, like an illustration, to then finally become the thing that it is, the symbol. Usually when we write an album, the album name comes up to me. Just, it's hard to explain. Usually when you're writing a song, and actually when we wrote Come Hell or High Water, I instantly felt like this is gonna be the name of the album. And obviously that was the first song. It could have been, it was maybe too early to say, but I was convinced almost through the entire writing process. But I wanted to use more of a concept-based writing when it came to the lyrics, and I started to use references in different songs. And one thing that came up through the writing process was the black. And then when we finally wrote a song which we called The Black, that's when, and this is towards the end of the writing process, but that's when it actually came up as an idea, that as an alternative to name the album. During all of this time, the idea for the artwork was actually to kind of have this finished drawing. It was supposed to look like the single artworks did. And when Jacob came up with the final version of the album artwork, it just clicked for us that it was so perfect for the music, and we're just convinced that right away, like, okay, I think that the album is be called The Black. From a lyrical point of view, we have been like on a trajectory with the last two releases prior to this, talking a lot about depression and mental health. And I feel that The Black is really about sinking deeper into that rabbit hole and really embracing the darkness, embracing your fears, and how to cope with that, and how to be able to come out. It's so much darker than anything we've ever done before. And I like to write my lyrics in a way that it's more applicable to the listener, if you can interpret it in many different ways. And I used a lot of, I would say, subconscious writing is usually what I call it, when I don't really think too much about it. If there's something that comes to me, I just start to write it down, and then I start to work from that. I think that this is the work that I'm the most proud of in the entire history of Imminence, of putting out, both lyrically and musically as well.